The Patrouille Acrobatique de France, French pronunciation, Patrouille Acrobatique de France, French Acrobatic Patrol, also known as the Patrouille de France, PAF, is the precision aerobatics demonstration unit of the French Air and Space Force, officially commissioned in 1953. Using the French Aerial Aerobatics, French, Voltige Aérienne Française, unit of the French Air and Space Force, the mission is to represent it and lead the ambassadorship role of French aeronautics overseas. Stationed at Aerial Base 701 Salon-de-Provence in Bouches-du-Rhône, it is the oldest, active since 1931, and considered as one of the best in the world. Comprising 9 pilots and 35 mechanics, the Patrol, La Patrouille, splits its time between winter season, saison hivernale, training and summer season, saison estivale, aerial displays. The unit traditionally opens the Bastille Day military parade in Paris with 9 Alpha jets, presenting a 20-minute demonstration of formation changes and crossovers narrated by the director of the French Air Force presentation team, also a jet pilot as well as the public relations officer. Each maneuver is filmed by a photo and video specialist, as a pilot is also usually present, often the replacement pilot, supervising the communications between the PAF and the controller for flight safety. In 1931, the first aerial demonstration aérienne, in Patrol, in Patrouille, took place at Étampes-Montsou Airport. The demonstration was executed by instructors of the Piloting Perfection School, on Moraine-Saulnier MS-230. The formation was composed of 3 aircraft. Between 1932 and 1939, under the command of Captain Pierre Fleurquin, the Patrouille d'Étampes received an encouraging success and entered in posterity. Accordingly, the patrol was chosen to represent France during international meetings. In 1935, the Patrouille d'Étampes was converted on MS-225 and developed capability to pass to 5 equipment. 1936. In 1937, the unit joined Salon-de-Provence. It was designated Patrouille de l'Air. The Second World War interrupted different activities. In 1947, the Minister of Air created an escadrille of representation for the French Air Force. The presentation unit was directed by Capitaine Pierre, former pilot of the Patrouille d'Étampes and accordingly equipped with 12 Stamp SV4. In front of the ongoing ascending success of presentations, diverse formations were put in place at the core of the French Air Force. In 1952, Commandant Pierre Delaquinel, pilot of the 3E Escadre, stationed at Aerial Base 112 Reims-Champagne, formed an escadrille of 4 Republic F-84G. During an aerial meeting on 17 May on the field of Maison Blanche, White House, in Algeria, the pilot show commentator of the escadrille and journalist Jacques Notinger, overwhelmingly shocked with the spectacle which he had just witnessed, baptized France's patrol officially as Patrouille de France. The General Staff Headquarters of the French Air Force accordingly confirmed this appellation on September 14, 1953. During the 10 following years, 4 escadres of the French Air Force, the 12e Escadre of Aerial Base 103 Cambrai-Epinoy, the 4e Escadres of Aerial Base 136 Bremgarten, the 2e Escadre of Aerial Base 102 Dijon-Longvic and the 4e Escadre of Aerial Base 133 Nancy-Oki, perpetuated one after the other, tour à tour, the traditions of the Patrouille de France and contributed to Patrol's international success. Nevertheless, in 1964, following budgetary restrictions, the Patrol of Dassault Mystère 4 was dissolved. Anxious not to have the designation of Patrouille de France disappear, the Minister of the Armies decided accordingly a couple of months later to adopt the Patrouille de l'Air. The 6th Magister of the aerial base of Salon-de-Provence became the torch of French aerial aerobatics, French, Voltige Aérienne Française, during 16 years. The last presentation of Fouga Magister, which the number was 9, was held on September 16, 1980 at Salon-de-Provence. The Dassault/Dornier Alpha jet became the steel sphere of the Patrouille de France in 1981 with 7 aircraft. This number was increased to 8 as of 1982. A historical display took place in 1986 above New York City. On November 25, 2009, for the first time in the world, an aerobatic team was commanded by a woman, when Commandant of the French Air Force Virginie Guillot became leader of the Patrouille de France. 3 pilots integrate the Patrouille each year. The new entering patrollers are chosen amongst the hunter pilots, French, pilote de chasse, of the French Air Force, which come forth voluntarily. They have to retain the qualification of a patrol chief and totalize at least 1,500 hours of flying on a reaction aircraft in order to apply. From the principle of cooperation, the pilots chose the 3 future pilots of the Patrouille. The 2009 to 2010 season was marked by the arrival, for a first time, of a female pilot, Commandant Virginie Guillot. The radio code of the Patrouille is Athos. The leader, le leader. Athos 1 remains on post for a period of 1 year. The leader is the only indispensable pilot in the Patrouille and cannot be replaced. Orchestra chief of the Patrouille, the leader determines with his team the figures and formations which the patrol will form and paint. The interiors, les intérieurs, respectively Athos 2 and Athos 3. They are in their first year in the Patrouille and evolve aside the leader during the manifestations of flight formations. The carrognard, French, carrognard. Athos 4, known for the position, placed behind the leader. Athos 4 literary swallows all the smoke and takes the leader's place the following year. The exteriors, les extérieurs. Athos 5 and Athos 6 are part of the equipment the furthest from the leader. Their respective places at the core of formations demand from them a great deal of anticipation and concentration in order to hold formation of the aerial fort. The solos, les solos. Athos 7, solo leader, and Athos 8, second solo, conduct crossings and percussions during the synchronization, second part of the program. The replacement, le remplaçant. Athos 9 is the oldest pilot of the Patrouille, since Athos 9 occupied the post of interior, second of solo and leader solo the previous years. Athos 9 has to be capable in replacing any of the patrollers. He cannot, however, replace the leader. The Patrouille de France is first a team. They are 32 mechanics to put in place, maintain and repair the 12 Alpha jet assigned to the unit. Placed under the orders of Technical Services Chief, the mechanics are also chosen by co-optation amongst the mechanics of the French Air and Space Force. They are all volunteers and work often late at night to assure the mission of the following day. They are mainly 2 teams. The troubleshooting team charged with troubleshooting the necessary immobilization of an aircraft, or the utilization of specific tools. The troubleshooting team guarantees equally the consistency of programmed operations. This team is stationary on an aerial base, and ensures the base's backup support, or when the Patrouille returns from meeting. The field/meeting team based on the tradition, the field mechanic chooses the pilot. The mechanic accompanies the pilot during the appropriate season on all meetings, and navigates in the rear for all transit flights. In a particular uniform, the latter ensures the effect placement of each flight departure and return. The confidence between the mechanic and pilot is absolute/total. The Transall accompaniment A Transall C-160 accompanies the Patrouille de France to each displacement. The accompaniment revolves around ensuring the necessary logistics support, in transporting a dozen tons of materials, in addition to the required personnel and concern for the mission. The accompaniment is capable of conducting rotations to main base from any lieu in case the situation was of a requirement. The Transall and crew which participate to the mission of the Patrouille hail from the transport squadrons of the French Air and Space Force. The program of the Patrouille de France is renewed each year. Each program, designated a series, is determined by the leader in accordance with all members of the team. This program is proposed to be validated by Security Flight Commission, before being validated, similarly to all demonstration pilots, by the Chief of Staff of the French Air Force during the spring on an aerial base. The series for the year is divided in 2 parts, the Robin, 8 Alpha jet evolve in a tight quarter formation and change formation, and the Synchro, the Patrouille is divided into 2 formations and conducts alternatively figures of 2, 4, or 6 aircraft. The chains of maneuvers must be perfectly synchronized between the leader and the leader solo in order to avoid dead time for the public, and avoid equally the superposition of 2 figures. The emblematic figure of the Patrouille is the heart, balance and wide at 6 cut by an arrow realized by the 2 solos. The pilots fly at speeds between 300 and 800 km per hour, while being only spaced from each other by 2 or 3 meters. The base formation of the Patrouille de France is the diamond. However, the repertoire includes numerous other formations, and can be orchestrated into a series. The repertoire of the Patrouille de France consists of at least 20 different formations. Republic F-84G Thunderjet, 1953 to 1954. Das Aerogain, 1954 to 1957. Das Omestier 4, 1957 to 1964. Flugmagister, 1964 to 1981. Das Obrigate/Dornier Alpha Jet. Since 1981, each aircraft is painted blue-white-red, with the gun placement replaced with a smoke generator. Searchlights are installed on the aircraft nose, and the viewfinder has been removed to improve visibility. 1935, death of Chief Warrant Officer, French, Adjutant Chef, Carlier following an accident. 1967, at the egress of the final usual burst, French, éclatement, the Flugmagister of Captain Didier Duthoit, Commandant in second of the PAF, crashed in the proximity of a grandstand. The pilot was killed. 1980, two Fugas collided while executing a synchronized maneuver. The two pilots were killed. 1981, an Alpha jet piloted by the Commandant crashed in the north of Aix-en-Provence. The pilot did not eject and was killed. 1982, an Athos 8 crashed during a rehearsal at Salon-de-Provence Air Base. The pilot was killed. 1983, two aircraft collided in midair while conducting a maneuver over Niort. The aircraft were part of two groups of 4 aircraft each, practicing a 4 versus 4 crossover. Of the two pilots, one, Lieutenant Villamy, was killed, while the other survived. 1987, the two solos collided during a meeting at Annemasse. Neither pilot was injured. 1991, the two solos collided. One pilot was killed, while the other ejected and sustained injuries. 1992, the second solo crashed during a training flight at Salon-de-Provence Air Base. The pilot narrowly avoided a highway, activated the ejection seat too late and was killed. 1993, during a training flight, one of the Alpha Jet solos crashed near Cameri Air Base in Italy. The two pilots ejected and sustained injuries. 2002, while returning to Salon-de-Provence Air Base after a training mission, an Alpha Jet crashed on a turn before landing. The pilot, Captain Daniel Marchand, attempted to eject too late and was killed. 2010, while conducting a solo maneuver during a training mission, one of the solo Alpha Jets crashed near the Orange Plandieu Airport, FR, near Orange, Vaucluse. The pilot, Captain Sylvain Courtot, ejected 10 meters from the ground and landed meters from the crashed aircraft. He suffered from fractures and retook flights in 2011. The replacement 2009 made his comeback in the Patrouille to perform the 2010 season. 2019, on July 25, an Alpha Jet overran the runway at Perpignan Airport. The pilot ejected. The Patrouille de France, PAF, has many encounters with notable figures, but few have been awarded the official title of patron/godfather or godmother, French, parrain, marraine. Patron can designate a godfather parrain or godmother marraine. For example, Nicolas Hewlett, victim of a voile noire on board of a Patrouille de France aircraft, was never awarded the title. The first patron/godfather of the Patrouille de France was Alain Delon, in 1988. He came for the first time to Salon-de-Provence Air Base, with Yves Mouroussi, then flew on a flight directly to Journal de 13 hours of TF1, a journey which took 30 minutes. His renommee designation generated much conversation about the French Air Force and reinforced the relation between the French Air Force and France. The pilots at the time were Commandant Velas, leader, Lieutenant Bossert, Lieutenant Gerb, Captain Hendel, Captain Weber, Lieutenant Mughal, Captain Bonin, Lieutenant Manzo, and Captain Brode. In 1990, Michel Drucker accepted to be the godfather/patron of the Patrouille de France. A journalist with a passion for aeronautics, he came for the first time to the Salon-de-Provence Air Base on March 26, 1990, and took his first flight on April 26. 2 days later, the display team appeared on the TV program Champ Elysees, French, Champ Elysees, émission de télévision. The appearance allowed the audience to observe French Air Force personnel behind the scenes. In 2010, at the 20th anniversary of the Patrouille de France, the team appeared on the TV program Vivement Dimanche, French, Vivement Dimanche, for a special program. The pilots were Commandant Festas, Lieutenant Chantereau, Captain Len, Captain Baroque, Lieutenant Gerb, Lieutenant Lagrange, Captain Bossert, Captain Lewis, and Lieutenant Manzo. In 1991, the Patrouille de France chose Jean-Claude Kelly, triple Olympic champion at the 1968 Winter Olympics held in Grenoble. Killy was the co-organizer of the 1992 Winter Olympics held in Albertville, where the PAF performed. The pilots were Commandant Baroque, Captain Rare, Captain Manzo, Captain Bossert, Captain Gerg, Captain Lagrange, Captain Chantereau, Captain Patʁuj, and Lieutenant Burin. In 1993, on the 40th anniversary of the formation of the PAF, Albert II, Prince of Monaco, became the godfather/patron. The pilots were Commandant Conman, Captain Kurtz, Captain Manzo, Captain Lalowix, Captain Burin, Captain Chicha, Captain Hawillier, and Lieutenant Perret. In 2001, the judo champion David Douillet became godfather/patron. Douillet conducted a flight in front of the Patrouille De France on board the Transall transport aircraft with the door open. The pilots were Commandant Giroux, Commandant Girard, Captain Matteo, Captain Boileau, Captain Delay, Captain Talichat, Captain Fricker, Captain Lespade, and Captain Espinette. In 2010, Carla Bruni, wife of the President of France Nicolas Sarkozy, became the first patron/godmother. The pilots were Commandant Guillot, Commandant Tranchon, Captain Guy, Captain Hauser, Captain Casting, Captain Wallard, Captain Pilot, Captain Courtot, Captain Monheat, and Captain Burgeon. In 2012, the rugby player Thierry Dusautoir became the patron/godfather for the running year. The pilots were Commandant Gauthier Duas, Captain Vincent Plantier, Captain William Leroy, Commandant Raphael Nahel, Captain Jean-Noël Guy, Captain Guillaume Smets, Captain Antoine Hauser, Captain Philippe Castagnat, Captain Sylvain Pilot. In 2014, the French Air Force celebrated its 80th anniversary, and for the first time in history, the Patrouille de France counted two patrons, Jean-Luc Crétin and Patrick Baudry, who conducted two flights during the year. The 2014 team composed of Commandant Herpin, Commandant Bethon, Captain Michel, Captain Chonat, Captain Plantier, Captain Blomtaila, Captain Leroy, Captain Aubert, and Captain Castagnet. Leila Presa, 60 ans de la Patrouille de France in images, Avions hors série and Degree 35, Sebastian Guimac, Jean-Louis Gaincoech and Humbert Charles, 2013, pages 102. EP8, La Patrouille de France, Vincent Perrault, 2009, pages 184, ISBN 9782851206886, 3.